And we're live!
Once again on a Tuesday morning in Arizona.
There's nothing like a 9 a.m. live show, JoJo. That's what I love. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us again for another Tech Tuesday from the DMO, Digital Marketers Organization, a community dedicated to helping you guys learn more about, well, I guess anything that's related to digital marketing. Well, we're happy to have you guys here today. We have an interesting and cool company that we're going to be reviewing today. Joe, you wanna reveal?
Blue.
Now,
this is not the cigarette company. This is Blue mics because Jim gave me a Yeti to use, and I fell in love with the microphone.
I love mine. Mine's a Shure. But I do love those Yeti mics. They're high quality, and I'm sure a lot of people are using them. We kind of picked this one out of the blue, but man, did we discover some stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we decided that we're, in lieu of people actually giving us feedback, we're just going to pick the products that we like, and then hopefully do something interesting with them.
So, I'll share my screen real quick so that we can see the totality of this, because I was shocked as we saw this earlier. So, I've pulled up Cistrix. Now, this is super interesting. I don't think I've come across something like this in quite a bit of time. So, Cistrix, a great company. They're a good tool to use if you want to look at SEO visibility, so you can see what's going on over time with either one of your clients or a potential client. So it's a great tool to kind of see like the health and wellness of this website over the last 5 or 6 years, or actually this one goes all the way back to 2011. So it gives you a little bit of history. Now, I don't think that there's a single company that exists where there should have like a 2-year gap of no visibility, especially after this update. This is insane. I've never seen something like this for so long. I mean, it's not even like they dropped a little bit. They went off the face of the planet from, let's see, 2017, like late 2017, all the way up until like March. Like they were like, hey guys, the virus is hitting. We really got to fix this stuff. So it looks like they're starting to come back, which is great for them. But man, what a crazy experience with this. What do you think, Joe? Oh, you're muted. Perfect. Everyone's going to love you.
No, I think everyone will love me because I saved them 2 seconds. No, I think a couple of years ago, they made a series of technical changes, and it doesn't look like the work was really put under proper QA. And from that, just kind of became a cascade of issues. Again, like I'll hedge a little bit here. I think Blue it has a similar situation to what we were talking about last week with OtterBox, wherein the majority of their sales are not coming from their actual website. It looks more of a brochure setup. They could buy from it, but I don't think they're really focused on it, as we'll kind of get into.
I think most people, I mean, where I bought yours is, B&H Photo or Sweetwater or, something like that, Amazon. I think that a majority of their sales do come from that. But even outside of sales, you'd still want to target people with keywords like best USB mic, travel microphones, or whatever it may be, right? And at least expose them to your brand. But, it seems like this was, I don't know, negligence or moving too fast. It's really hard to tell. I would love to get the backstory on this, though.
Right.
But unfortunately,
so we're going to reach out to someone at Blue after this, with
for sure,
to try to help them along, because there's a lot of stuff that has to be fixed.
Yeah, I agree. This is no bueno for anyone, and we have both owned businesses, and some of you do too. And I think the important thing is that trying to help someone through this and getting them back on track is more important than letting them flounder. Unless, of course, you're a competitor, and then it's okay if they flounder.
Well, they do make a really quality product. I'd love to see a website that matches that.
Yeah. Now, I'll tell all of you too, if you have any questions while me and Joe are going through this, we actually can see all of your comments live. So feel free to go ahead and leave a comment if you wish, and we'll try to answer your questions in regards to this website. So I will go share my screen again. And man, I've got so much.
I was gonna say I did want you to start with the crawl for sure. So
Okay.
yeah.
With
I'm sorry, the user agent.
Oh, yeah. So this is interesting. I've seen this come up a couple times. It's one of two problems. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. So I happen to use this little plugin for Chrome. And what it is it's a user agent switcher. And so you can select that I'm going to be Googlebot, or I'm going to be myself, or I'm Chrome on a Mac, or whatever. And it allows you to kind of see what the page would look like if you came from one of those user agents. Well, I set it to Googlebot, and I got this. I've been blocked. Now, to give them the benefit of the doubt, it is entirely possible that they are allowing Googlebot, but they're only allowing it from the IP addresses that they're familiar with from Googlebot,
or a very specific string,
or that perhaps. So I'm hoping that they get crawled and indexed. Well, this sent me and Joe through a spiral of interesting tidbits. So Joe, I'll give it back to you. Why don't you share your screen real quick? And we'll show them. We'll show them what happened after you did the site command.
Yeah, I did. That's what I have up. Right. So this was crazy because the most important stuff, according to Google, was actually their staging server, which is not great. But it's actually worse than that, though, because there's a lot of inconsistencies you could see where the second result is the non-dub blue mic version, and then the next one after that's the dub. So that kind of like lets you realize that there's probably something funky going on with redirects. You can just pop a couple pages deeper on the site command and you run into something worse. Where is it? Where they have the mail subdomain indexed. Wow. And that's not great.
Oh, no. Go to the other one. It's not just the mail. It's the other one too.
Which other one? I saw staging. This one. I already talked about staging.
Oh, did you? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that was the very first thing I did. And so from that, I took a look at just how they're handling some of the redirects. And I think maybe this might be why you were having the issue on the user agent. I mean, we'd love to dig in deeper, obviously, but when I just tried to play around on SEO Books header check to see how are they handling real simple stuff like just the non-dub to dub, keeping consistent with HTTPS, and it was popping it around a couple places. Then it did a hard redirect to the English US side. I was like, oh, wow, maybe that's what's going on. And I think that might be the case because when I was looking in Market Brew to get a sense of how they're sharing page equity, I think it was getting caught in a loop where it took several hours to crawl this site from Market Brew, and it thinks that every single one of the deep country code pages is of the same quality, and it doesn't get really deep at all. It gets sort of stuck because it's coming back to the mapping up here. I know that you're going to go into that, so I won't steal too much thunder. The navigation obviously has to be cleaned up. There's no getting around that. This is way too flat. You shouldn't be trying to have the same amount of weight assigned to the Finnish product page as you do the English index page. That doesn't really make a lot of sense. You ignore all the competition on that just based on that. What else? I looked at the speed of it is extremely slow. And some of this has to do with it really is kind of set up to be like a brochure site. Yeah. So there's really heavy pages. They're not served in like the current formats, which is that's taken up 6 seconds. The videos that are auto playing.
Why don't you tell everyone what this is that you're looking at? Because some of
people
may not know.
Insights.
What is it?
Yeah, this is just Google's PageSpeed Insights. So there's a million other tools out there that may be better. This is just really quick. But what it's trying to tell us is it's not really passing any of the core web vitals assessments. Because of this, this would be a problem if you're trying to load it up on mobile. So some of the ranking issues could be part of this. Some of it is probably more related to the redirect situations. I'm going to let you handle the specific country codes, but the last thing I wanted to take a look at here was the broken links. This bothers me a lot. So Ahrefs, they found over 1,000 broken links. It's like, well, what did it break? Take a look at this first one here. The www.bluemic page tries to go to the www.bluemic pro mouse page. Then it tries to redirect to a sitemap PHP broken link to mouse. So they're losing all of their link equity from YouTube across every single one of their products. And then it looks like the same thing happened again with Mac Rumors and a lot of the other domains that they have stuff on, where someone broke the redirect mapping and didn't come back to fix it afterwards.
Nice.
They do have a lot of links that are coming in, which is great because it's a solid product. It's going to get linked to. But when there's so many broken redirects out in the wild and inconsistent usage of those redirects, I think that they're not going to be able to get beyond the hump until it's fully addressed.
Yeah. Now let's go back to why don't you go back to the Google page analysis thing?
I already killed that.
Oh, that's okay. So, one of the things that I wanted to talk about, I'll talk while you bring that up. But, an interesting thing that most of us know is that Google is going to be really, really tying down people's hands when it comes to a future update in 2021, which is going to be looking at the content layout shift. And it's also going to be looking at some other metrics. Now, I noticed that.
Still loading.
Yeah, that's okay. I noticed on the one that you had up that the content shift was really bad. And for mobile environments, that's huge, right? So this is going to come into play for them in 2021 real bad, I would say, in my opinion. I think that they're going to run into this problem where their website, once again, 2 years of utter crap. And then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, we're back, baby, we're back. And then all of a sudden now this update's going to happen, right? They're going to go crashing back down to the floor. And, I'm sure, who knows if they have an SEO working for them. If they do, we'll figure out what to do with them. Maybe we'll give them some free classes or something. But, these are things that those people should be looking at, to try to understand what is going on with the website. It's loading too slow, so no one's going to convert. It's loading too slow, so it's not going to rank. It's got content layout shift issues. So, you're going to have these mobile problems. You've got other things like first contentful paint, which is it's okay, but it's not great. These are all things that they're going to have to adjust and fix as time goes on. So it's interesting from that perspective. Now I'll go ahead and share my screen again. Echo. So I went through and was looking for all of the country code stuff. I'll switch off of this so that I can actually see what I need to see. But the first thing that I noticed, which was interesting, was that it immediately transports you to another country. Now I selected the UK just because I wanted to see if the websites were different. They're not. But, I was coming in here to their country selector and I was on US and I was like, oh, okay, cool. They're targeting different countries. I went over to the source code and I tried looking. I'm like, okay, where is the hreflang stuff? It's nowhere in here. The only thing they have in here for language is right here. So the hreflang tags are missing. So that's great. But then I got down to Brazil and Argentina and I was like, wait a minute. Brazil and Argentina. Here's where all the hreflang tags are inside the sitemap. I don't see those two countries. And I was like, well, I wonder why. So I go back in here, and sure enough, if you mouse over, you can kind of see at the bottom of my screen, hopefully. But it goes to bluemicstore.com.br. So they have a separate, complete domain for this one country. And then, really interesting is that their Argentina site goes to Logitech. Now they're owned by Logitech, so I guess that makes sense. But it's really interesting that they abandoned the the brand for Argentina specifically. Now, maybe there's some sort of weird rule or something where they can or can't sell in that particular market under the brand, but I thought it was really, really interesting. I didn't even click on the site to see what happens when I go there, but wow, so it's a totally different site. Interesting. And they don't have all of the products in there too. Super interesting. So, you know, there's obviously some issues with this this site. I know that we should probably go back. Let me kill this real quick, and I will get my other screen back up now.
Actually, I'm sharing screen if you want to throw it to you real quick. Hold on. This is more of a design idea, but I noticed playing around with the English version of the Canadian page that it's heavily duplicated in what's being shown. For instance, like the same product is shown multiple times, so it's loading it each and every time. It'd be a little bit more efficient to show the main products and hovering over explaining the use cases, or just break it out. Like if you're looking for streamers, YouTubers, podcasters, music makers, and then within there show like a category breakout of products. Showing like the blackout spark 1, 2. So that's only 2 times, but the Yeti X shows up 3 times.
Yeah,
it's not really helping.
I agree. I mean, the best thing that they can do is, you know, YouTube streamer, YouTube mic setup, YouTube, whatever. This does need to be its own page. I don't know why you'd want to do it this way, because you're basically just floundering a generic page where you could rank for specific terms should you have like the product categories, right?
Yeah, like if they throw this into like a YouTuber's page and they come through a network like mine and IntelliFluence and just try to reach out to YouTubers, they're going to have a great time. But like something like this, it's really cluttered and somewhat disorganized.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. So let me switch back to this now. I pulled up search metrics again too. So, you know, it's a real quick thing for me. Search metrics is, you know, an enterprise level platform that you can use to monitor keywords, get information about your competition, et cetera, et cetera. So again, you see the whole drop that happened for them. Search metrics only goes back 5 years. So that's why this looks a little bit different than the cistrix one. But what it also does too is it gives me the geographic data on SEO visibility. So what's interesting is that they do have, I wouldn't say high, but most of their visibility is in the United States. And then you can see the other countries that are out there, there's pretty much nothing. So even though they went international, it hasn't benefited them that much. Now, I can tell you with my experience over at GoDaddy. What was that?
Because of that hard redirect.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm also saying too that, you know, another reason is brand affinity. So no one probably knows who Blue Microphones are over in these countries. And if they haven't done any advertising or they're not pushing, you know, any sort of ads or whatever in those areas, they're never going to rank. The exact same thing, and outside obviously of the hard links, but that happened to GoDaddy too, where they tried to go into these countries and then we just sat there and we're like, wow, the dollars aren't rolling in. What do we do? And there was this massive advertising campaign that we had to go through. So, you know, looking at some of the keywords that they have, you know, they're ranking for 151 on page 1, but man, what a low amount for such a great product and such a great brand. 1,000 keywords. This to me screams that they are not trying to go after the long tail game or a content game. It's basically, like we kind of mentioned in the beginning, this is like a brochure site. And they could be doing so much more. And, you know, they do rank for a lot of their own branded keywords. I bet if I got rid of the word blue, we would probably be able to see how many they really rank for. And it's,
yeah, if you get rid of blue, then like the next big thing is like the Yeti.
Yeah, you can only exclude one, I think, on here, but you know, that dropped it down to 829. So there was a fair amount of blue related keywords. So, you know, I wish it wasn't this way for them. They're a great brand. They make an amazing product. We've purchased multiples of them, so I know that they work really, really well. It's sad that you see something like this happen to such a good brand. And this happens a lot. Like we've seen this happen for a lot of brands. That Jet one that we were working on, Joe, was another one where it was a good service, but man, just so many problems.
I found another interesting thing here.
Oh yeah, let me kill mine. I'll add yours up there.
Well, I wanted to see country level rankings, just using Ahrefs, something simple.
Yeah.
So English, US, it shows English US for the most part. Canada shows Canada. France shows France. India shows English US. So somewhere in that site mapping for the href lang, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a bug there too.
Well, this probably goes back to the fact that they don't have an Indian site, and so you've got India linking to the US version, and they're not doing the redirects because there's nothing to redirect, right? It's just going into the US one. So they probably have a funnel of like any country we don't target automatically just goes into the English US site.
So I wanted to show this product category. So this is right off of their indexed headphones. That's the entire page. Nice. So it's really disconcerting as a consumer. If I hit this page, I'm wondering, like, what happened?
What do you do?
Where's the footer? I mean, where's the rest of the site? Did it break? Can I trust my credit card with it? So right. I don't know if it just failed to load. They just didn't decide that they wanted to have a footer on any of these pages. Then you get
who needs a footer, Joe? What good is a footer? We all know that Google doesn't look at the links anyway. Why you would have it?
I can't really get my head around what's going on here without getting into the code and seeing if maybe there's a break occurring. But that's a problem.
Well, let me get the big kahuna up here. Where is it? Site of the bulb. All right, so we've got Site Bulb up now. Their site, as a non-content site would prove, is very shallow. So it doesn't really go down too many layers. That's good for them. The bad news is that we know that it's because they just don't have a lot of pages. So that is a problem. We also noticed too, as we're coming into some of these, they've got some critical issues, but they're not really. I don't know. This is like the tough thing, right? So you've got critical errors, but they're only like 3 URLs. And if I'm super anal, I'll probably go after stuff like this. But for me, working on a large enterprise site, these are things where it's like 2 or 3 pages. I just don't care. It's just not enough for me to be interested, unless it's like a money-making page or it's something where it absolutely needs to be perfect. So I would probably ignore those. Let's see. There's only one followed internal linking URL. Great. URLs with duplicate page titles. I'm assuming that they're probably got. Actually, you know what, Joe? I bet you what's a very interesting thing when that page that you brought up with the 3 or 4 versions of the same microphone. Yeah. I wonder if those go to the same page or if they go to 2 or 3 other different pages.
Let me look at this.
You know what I mean? Like categorically. So yeah, I mean,
same page.
Is it the same page? Well, that's good. URLs with similar content. I'm sure if we did a content scan, we'd find a lot of regurgitated content that they're basically cannibalizing themselves. So a lot of issues, not necessarily. I mean, they're bad, but they're widespread for the most part for some of these pages. The fact that they have their staging server crawlable is mind-boggling, absolutely mind-boggling. But I don't know. It's one of those things where I don't know. You wish you could help them out, but they need to see this stuff. And unless they have an SEO working for them or some company that's really, really good at this, I don't see how they're going to find this stuff. So anyways, these are kind of the little problems. Again, they're not too crazy. They're the simple ones: title tags, description tags, content, all duplicate content. You've got on-page issues. You've got missing tags. You can see here, H1's missing. Some of them are empty. It's just a hodgepodge of coding. Now, the real interesting question is like, where are they they coding from? Do they have like, ooh, this is too big? You know, do they have a local team here? Where are they located? How are they coding? Are they taking due diligence to do all this stuff? You know, to me, it seems like they don't have an SEO working for them. Or if they do, they just got hired and that's how the site came back. But yeah, huge problems. What else do you have, Joe? Was that it?
That's enough. I mean, for the marketing exec that ultimately gets this, good luck. Any fix you make is going to move the needle.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I would say this too, you know, if someone over at Blue wants to reach out to us, we're more than happy to hop on a 5 or 10 minute call and try to look at the stuff that you guys are concerned about. But this is something that's very, very serious. Again, my gut reaction to all of this is that they're going to fix it. They're going to get their rankings back, or at least some of them. And then they're going to get hit with another algorithm. They're probably not going to know about it. And then they'll just go back down to either 0 or, you know, who knows. But this speaks to the power of SEO. I mean, it would be very, very difficult to track sales, obviously, with so many different vendors that sell their products. But I wonder if brand affinity would go up, you know, if we were to, you know, quote unquote, fix it, right? You missed. I know you missed.
I missed.
You missed. All right. Well, we'll make this a quick Tech Tuesday, but you know, we really do love doing these kind of on-site audits for these companies. It proves that no one's perfect. There's always going to be problems out there that people are going to have to deal with. The best thing that you can do is try to, I guess, buy some insurance and hire an SEO and hopefully a good reputable one that can find these problems and help fix them. These are things that Joe and I have seen countless times over the years. And while it's sad, it is very, very common. So thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We're really happy to have you here. Again, if you are interested in learning more about the Digital Marketers Organization, just click below or visit digitalmarketers.org and join up. So thanks, everyone. Have a great Tuesday, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
I think, what are we doing? Taco Bell next week?
Shh. From Taco Bell.
Wow. But we have to have breakfast crunch wraps if we're going to do it, because those are amazing.
You're still live, and TJ can hear you.
I know, it's okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.